Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is going to be about HOA gated communities and if they're worth it or not. And at the end of the video, we're going to discuss my personal recommendations to ensuring that your family gets placed in a good neighborhood and it's safe. So stick around to the end of the video for my personal recommendations. Now, in this walking tour of my daughter, we are in Central Boca again, one of the most family-friendly areas in the entire city. This neighborhood is called Colonnade. It's an HOA community, but it's non-gated. It does have a public park located within the center of the neighborhood. The HOA fees are not crazy. They're about $100 a month. There's 4 houses in here ranging between 1.3 to 1.5 million, and they're fairly decent size, about 2,700 to 3,000 square feet. A lot of 3 and 4 bedrooms in here. If you're looking for a bigger house, this is a great area for you. And what I actually like about this area, as I probably mentioned before, is that Central Boca, you get some of the best and most desirable schools in the entire city. So a lot of people want to move in this particular area. And if you like these neighborhood tours where we can look around, watch the video, and see what the neighborhood looks like, please put a thumbs up so the video gets support. We keep making neighborhood tour videos. We can walk around, you can see what it's like on foot. All right, so getting back to the topic of the video, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that there is a neighborhood called Boca Bridges, and this neighborhood is a very nice neighborhood. It is a very expensive neighborhood. Homes are in well above $5 million in there. They pay over $1,000 a month in HOAs. They have a 24-hour guarded gate. In this guarded neighborhood, it's getting people breaking into cars are getting stolen weekly. It's becoming an issue for the neighborhood where they're actually discussing increasing the HOA even more than $1,000 a month to have an armed security in the neighborhood, because the 24/7 guarded gate is not working. And here's the video, I'll put it right here below. The people just walk through the shrubbery, go into the neighborhood, steal items from the cars, and they're actually stealing cars and just leaving the neighborhood, because once you get the automobile, the gate just opens as you exit. So this is gonna be the highlight and the key discussion of this video: is HOA neighborhoods worth it or not? So let's get started with the pros. Now, the pros of having a gated neighborhood is that it reduces foot traffic. So now, before we start the pros and cons of this video, it's very hard to find data. So even though these gated communities are so popular, especially down here in Boca, it's really hard to find data to support them in general, for or against. But this is the data that I was able to find. Let's discuss pro number 1. They're supposed to stop foot traffic and unknown visitors from entering the community. So if you want an area where people aren't readily just walking through or driving through your neighborhood, a gate is supposed to stop unwanted guests. So if you don't want people from outside visiting your neighborhood, this is one of the pluses of having it, and why it's probably the most desirable is because it keeps people who are not supposed to be in your neighborhood out. Number 2 pro, it creates a sense of community because you don't have people just coming and going in your neighborhood. You know your neighbors better. You usually have more cul-de-sacs in these type of neighborhoods. You don't have a street traffic coming and going, and it's supposed to build a more sense of community within the neighborhood itself. Pro number 3, these neighborhoods tend to have a lot more amenities. So most of these gated neighborhoods have clubhouses, nice playgrounds, large swimming pools, and other items and amenities in the actual neighborhood that makes it desirable. So it arguably could be more of a desirable area to have an actual gate, because you can have those amenities for the residents themselves. And the next pro is going to be the study I found. So a lot of these gated neighborhoods point to a study that was done in 2013 that reduces crime in the neighborhood by 33%. So this is the benefit, because you're keeping a lot of unwanted guests out. They believe it's, secure. So it keeps a lot of people, in theory, out of your neighborhood. So it's supposed to be a safer place for you and your family. Now let's start talking about the negatives.
Guys, if you made it this far, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Please reach out to me below. I would love to help you and your family relocate to this great state, and stick around to more videos. Keep watching.
So the number 1 negative of having a gated community, especially if it has a 24/7 guard, such as one as the Boca Bridges, is that it's expensive. So Boca Bridges, they pay about $1,000 a month for this gated community with a gated guard, and those prices are a lot. It's 10 times more than is in this neighborhood. And do you get 10 times more value? Yes. You have, more amenities in there. As I mentioned, it's a gated community. These tend to have a lot more amenities than non-gated communities. But what is it worth for you? Is it worth $1,000 a month just to have a gated guard? That can be argued by a lot of people. And if you're looking for value, your value of what you get from your HOA in the community, and you don't want to just throw around $1,000 that doesn't do much for you, it can be argued that it may not be worth it. Number two con is that all the studies I've seen, there's nothing that shows that violent crime itself is actually lower in gated communities. So it appears that most violent crime actually comes from your neighbors themselves. So in your community that you're gated in, it seems like a lot of violent crime still occurs. There's no difference in violent crime in a gated versus non-gated community. So it can be argued that for violent crimes, you're not safer. You could be slightly safer for property crimes and petty theft and that nature. Another negative is that people in gated communities have a false sense of security. So because they think they're in a gated community that they're safer, in reality, you should still lock your doors because you're not safer just because you're in a gated community. Unfortunately, the community itself isn't actually safer. So another negative is that people in gated communities feel that they are safer and they don't have to worry about crime in these gated communities, when in fact, crime still occurs there. And because they have this false sense of security, unfortunately, they're more likely to leave their car doors unlocked, their houses unlocked, and that allows for theft to occur more frequently and easier in these gated communities because their guards down, have a false sense of security. All right, so what can you do to keep your family safe and preventing things happening to you and your family, violent crime, petty theft? Well, the number one thing you can do is look at crime maps. So this particular neighborhood that we're walking through has much lower crime than some of the gated communities. So even though this neighborhood, people can freely walk in, there is a public park behind me. The public park attracts people from outside. It actually is safer here than some of the gated communities that you may find or be interested in moving to. Number two, to help protect your children, one of the best things you can do is look at sex offender lists. So any sexual predator or sex offender must register. They can't be in certain distance of playgrounds and schools. So what you can do to help keep you and your family safe is no matter what house you're looking at, do the extra research, look online, see where these people are located so you can keep them away from your children and make sure you're not moving directly next door to a predator. And that could definitely keep your children safe. Another option you can do is always make sure you're training your kids about safety. Don't talk to strangers. In gated communities, they may feel like everybody is their friend when they're not, and they need to be aware of that. You can't shelter your kids from everything, and you can't just let your guard down. You must protect yourself and be reasonable in that. Our next thing you can do is whenever you're going outside, say if you're going for a walk in the community, it doesn't hurt to have a pepper spray with you. Always carry around pepper spray. That's something that can always just pull it out if somebody tries to approach you or tries to take something from you. Can definitely deter them, and then when needed, it can definitely protect you so you can get out of there. Pepper spray is great because it blinds the person. It's not going to be lethal most of the time, and it'll definitely provide a level of protection for you and your family if you're going outside on a stroll to the park. Just think logically. And one of the best things you can do to protect your family and your personal house is installing cameras outside. Even if they're dummy cameras, just put fake cameras around your house and put signs that there's security. That can deter, some studies showing, up to 66% of burglaries and theft because people, they don't want to be on camera. So the more cameras are very visible, don't hide your cameras. People will tend to commit less crime when they feel like they're being watched. All right, guys, it's a very hot one out here. It's those overcast, not yet raining, but it's about to rain type of days. So it's very humid. Even going into December, it's still very, very hot out here in Boca. So if you have any questions, concerns, or want to know more information about moving here, especially in the Central Boca area with you and your family, please reach out to me. Here's my contact information below. Make sure you like and subscribe to support videos like this, and I'll continue putting videos about topics in that regards to Boca or relocating here. Y'all take care. Bye.